Bujo peeps, hi, I'm Neshi Lokatz, and this is Star Nations Organization's main fan page where we do the card draw live stream just about every day. I was going to say every morning, but today's an afternoon. Yeah, we had some shifting around this morning. One of our live show hosts, Connie Vaughter, one of our elders, she was supposed to have her show this morning, and she's ill, and wanted to let everybody know that she apologizes, and I was telling her, oh, there's no apologies, she has the flu, and so I really, I wanted to take care of her this morning and pray for her and that sort of thing, and I had already in my mind had it all prepped for our live stream for this afternoon, because the last Thursday of each month we have two shows for the elders, Connie in the morning and Carl and Orchard in the evening. And since I'm producing both shows, I can't produce Connie's show and do the live stream. So the last Thursday of every month, our live stream for the card draw is in the afternoon. And so I thought about it and thought, should I move it to the morning? And I thought, no, let's not do that. Let's keep our 2:00 and Central Time and do it that way, right? And so that way we kind of have a rhythm going, right? Yeah. Hey, good afternoon, Stephanie. I'm so glad you're here with us. And Rochelle, good afternoon. Hi. Yeah, thank you. Rochelle says she's sending Reiki towards Connie's way. Thank you so much, Rochelle, for that. Yep, we have lots of people sending her prayers. Yeah, when an elder is sick, when they're not feeling well, and we at least I do anyway, we kind of extend those prayers and anything we can do to help. I was more concerned about her not having anybody there to help take care of her. I know that her daughter lives close, not like next door in the same neighborhood, but like within an hour's drive, something like that. Thank you, Rochelle, for sharing the live stream. I'm going to do the same thing. And so, yeah, so we spent a little time doing that this morning. And I also decided to go and check something out since I had a little time. This morning I could go and check something out around town. But before I tell you about that, I am going to share the live stream. And I would appreciate it, just like Rochelle did, if you guys could do the same. Got to find us first on Facebook. There we are. Going to the main fan page and liking and sharing. I'm going to share it to my timeline because I share publicly about 99% of the time from my timeline. So I'm just going to say, hi, I'm live streaming. And please join me. There we go. I love those quick keys. And then we're going to share it to the Star Nations Radio Network closed group, because that's about a place where most of our active community members hang out. So I'm just going to say, hi, peeps. And I'm live streaming. And please join me. There we go. There. Now we just got to share it to the right group. All right, there you go. Done. It doesn't take long. And now that I've typed it in so many times, the quick keys, they come up really quickly, very fast. And so I can just click on those. I like those. All right, so Paul and I took some time this morning to go and visit a brand new veterinary's location. The location is new. The vet isn't. The vet isn't. They used to be in town, and they built a new building just outside the city limits, on the other side of town from us. And so we hadn't been there yet. And so we went to go check it out for a very good reason. Um, most of the cards that we've gotten in the last, probably week or two, most of them have been about choice, that we have choice. And Paul and I have been bouncing this choice around for about 3 weeks or so, pros and cons, right? And just the other day, I finally said to him, I think we have to follow our hearts. And I think that we've done all the mental gyrations about it. So what does our heart say? And so we decided to get another dog. We're actually a puppy, and so we're going to go pick him up on Saturday. And I wanted to check out this vet here in town because it's going to be much more convenient to be able to take the puppy there rather than our old vet, she's about an hour away. And the reason why we had chosen that vet when we had Ginger is because Ginger used to be pretty sick. And we wanted to have a holistic vet, somebody who did acupuncture and Chinese medicine, and but also, did the allopathic. And so I found one, and she is in Viroqua, and great. I mean, she and I, we bonded over Ginger. And but one of those things that we had to think about is time commitment, and taking care of mom at the same time. And so we chose to go with the vet here, who is also very good, but doesn't do the alternative. And so so we decided to do that. And if we need alternative, then we'll have to figure that one out if it comes up. So my next live stream that we have, when we have George, I'll have him here with me so you can meet him. And he's cute. He is his mom is a golden retriever, and we like golden retrievers because Ginger was a golden retriever. So George's mom is a golden retriever, and his dad is a yellow lab. And so I'm trying to remember what they call that mix because it's intentional. A golden lab, a golda lab, or something like that. Yeah, it's intentional. And so we were waiting for a sign from the soul that we call Ginger. Because dragonfly just flew by. We've only had 4 dogs the entire time Paul and I have been together, and we believe that it's the same soul that comes back, right? And when Ginger had near her last breath, I was holding her and I was talking to her, and I was telling her that when she was ready to come back, to let us know, show us a sign, tell us that you're ready, and show us where to go, right? Where to get you, because I'm going to come get you. You just have to let me know where and when. Well, she's going to be gone now. I think it's 5 years in November, just after Thanksgiving. And so anyway, time lapsed, right? And I started having dreams about puppies and little dogs, puppies, coming to me and then turning into a boy, or a little boy turning into a puppy. And so I was telling Paul about this, and I've had I don't know how many dreams about this, and so I knew that Ginger her soul was ready to come back, because really it's Sugar, our original dog, her soul that was Ginger, and now Ginger's soul into this new puppy. And so all these, so we were waiting. I was waiting for Paul to catch up. And to tell you the truth, being a primary caregiver and then adding this on top, that was the stumbling block. and so anyway, Paul received a messenger message from a person that he used to work with, probably about 4 or 5 years ago. And more than that. No, wait a minute. It's probably about 4 years. And she was asking people, friends of hers on her Facebook, to like her new her new page. And her new page is all about their brand new puppies, because they just started to breed their dog. So I looked at Paul and I said, "So is this one of the signs? Is this a sign that this is the puppies that's going to have Ginger's soul?" And I knew that it was going to be a boy, a male dog. So we went to go see, and you don't just go see and walk away. You just don't. So we went to go see the puppies, and there was one that came right up to me, and I picked him up and I was whispering in his ear. I said, if the soul that we called Ginger, if you're here, show me that you're here. And he turned around and looked right at me and licked me. He gave me a kiss. And so, that pretty much summed it up for me. Paul was more concerned about me and the time commitment and everything else that I have going on, and then adding one more thing on, right? Because I'm home, I would be the one who would be taking on a good portion of George's care, right? So we're picking George up on Saturday afternoon. Yay, yay, yay. And how did we even get to the name George? Because that's an odd name for a dog, don't you think? We've always named our dogs after spices. And we actually had a dog named Spice. And so we were tossing around names, and Paul goes, "Well, what kind of spice name can you give to a male dog? How is that going to happen?" And so we were just playing with it, and tossing out spice names, and went to where we keep the spices at our house, and was going through them, and his name must be here somewhere. And I had grabbed the bay leaves, and I said, how could we do bay leaf, and Paul's going, "Well, that reminds me of It's a Wonderful Life movie." I said, "What?" He goes, "George Bailey." And so we were tossing that around, I don't know, for like 2 days, George Bailey. And that's kind of how we got to his name, George Bayleaf. So it's kind of fun, and we'll see what kind of personality he has and how he fits his name. I know. Thank you, Stephanie. Beautiful story. Thank you. Hi, Jacqueline. Good. And Cindy Lynn. Hi. I was just sharing with everybody, those who showed up late, is that Paul and I are going to be getting a puppy, and we're picking him up on Saturday. So we've been getting things ready. This is the first time we've ever have gotten a dog or puppy that we're actually prepared. We weren't prepared for Ginger. We weren't prepared for Sugar. We weren't prepared for Spice. Having to run around and try to get food, and what else do we need? That kind of thing, Well, for George, we actually, we're actually a little bit more prepared, and so we're ready for him. That's why where I was this morning was checking out the vet here in town, and so everything's good to go. Although I also have to say that I had time. I had time this morning to do the card draw and see what the energy is like. And so with the first card that was drawn, this is what came. It's called Kabbalah, and it's about the tree of life. Whenever I see this, because this is in Metatron's cube, it's part of the flower of life. It's right in the center of the flower of life. And when I did the promotion for the live stream for this, when I sent it out this morning, I used the image of the flower of life with the Kabbalah, or the tree of life image. And so this is a very powerful, we call this big medicine information, image. And really just having it in your energy field, you can feel the shift occurring, because its frequency is very high, and the circles that have the names in it, or the words in it, those are gateway points. I don't want you to think that I know a lot about the Kabbalah, because I don't. But I do know a bit about the Tree of Life. And so I do know that those, where they intersect, those power points, where they intersect, right? Within the Kabbalah belief, those intersections, those power points, it's almost kind of like ley lines when they meet. They have a certain frequency and meaning to them. And the words at those intersections, those power points, carry that essence of that gateway. Okay. So, so like right in the middle, exactly at the middle, is beauty. And so the gateway and the understanding of beauty and how it unfolds, resides, resonates in your life, individually in your life. And so it's this image that you can put your focus on. Let's say that circle with the beauty in the middle, and you can do a meditation. You can get kind of drawn into, allowing yourself to be drawn into that energetic gateway, to see, feel, sense how that word or that essence is in your life, and how you experience, that's a good one, experience that essence. So if we're continuing to use the beauty as an example, we would have the image in front of us, and we would bring our attention to that PowerPoint of beauty, and with the intention of understanding, getting more information, how beauty is experienced in our physical life, in our spiritual life, in our mental life, in our emotional life. And so it elevates really the frequency, because it's a very powerful image. It really is. Yeah. I know. Hi, Mary. Mary's saying, puppy, I know. I can't wait. Rochelle said, I had a cat when I was 11 years old, got to name him George. I know. It makes me smile whenever I think it or say it out loud, George, Mary, he is a mix. He is a golden retriever and yellow lab, and it's an intentional breeding. It's an intentional breeding, bringing those two breeds together. And so we've never had a yellow lab. We've never had a lab. We've had golden retrievers before and Springer Spaniels before, but not a yellow lab. So it'll be interesting. Yeah. Rochelle says that she has the Tree of Life, the Kabbalah, on a necklace. Those are really nice, aren't they, though? I do. I don't have one. Wait a minute. Let me think about that. I think I do have one. The thing is, why I think I do is because I've used it in a teaching experience, but I think I gifted it to somebody quite some time ago, if I remember right. So anyway, yes, they're very powerful pieces of jewelry. They can certainly help you to be the strongest you possible when you're wearing it. But if you find yourself getting physically fatigued when you're wearing the jewelry, take it off and give yourself a little bit of a break. Mm-hmm. Because it's our physical body that tends to have issues when we're in a higher frequency. Okay. We find ourselves getting tired, fatigued, and like something like that. It's nothing negative. Okay. It has everything to do with a higher frequency that our body is trying to adjust to, our physical body. Yeah. Yep. And it does. And Rochelle says it has colors of the chakras. Yes. And that's why there's colors on this card too. And if you notice, it's the colors of the chakras. Yeah. The green's not in there though, unless no, I don't see the green. It could be the Kabbalah colors. I'm not an expert on Kabbalah. If there's somebody in the chat who is and knows about the colors associated with the Kabbalah Tree of Life, please put the information in the comment section. It'll help us understand the essence of the card better, right? Yeah. Hi, Margaret. Margaret's here. Glad you're here with us. Rochelle says the New Age movement is actually taken from the Kabbalah. Well, yes, it is. There's aspects that are taken from the Kabbalah, yes. There's aspects of the New Age that are taken from many different cultures and belief systems that weaves, I think, the frequency that we call the New Age, right? It really is ancient information brought forward into this time frame. Yeah. So Cindy Lynn is saying yellow labs are very good dogs. Yes, that's what I'm told. We will have our first experience with them. Shelley, hello. I'm glad you're here too. I am. And Rochelle says, I'm tired all the time. I hear you, lady. I do. Because, it's not a question if I'm tired. I'm tired all the time. It is physically tired. It is to what degree? To what degree? When it gets to physical fatigue and tiredness gets to the point that feels like, I don't know if this makes any sense, but it kind of feels like half my mind's asleep, I'm not really quick with things. Then I know that I shouldn't be driving either and that I should be taking a nap. That's one of my indicators. Yep, it is. Let's see. And Cindy is saying, I got a migraine at the Mind Body Spirit Expo last weekend because of all the energy. Yeah. And when that happens, Cindy, this is what helps me. Okay. Is that I get grounded. I get images, bringing images of Grandmother Earth to me and grounding to her, bringing down creator energy, grounding me to the earth. And it helps. It helps. I'm not quite as affected, and I have my Merkaba now. So, before I activated my Merkaba back in 2002, I think it was, I would be the same way when I'd go through places like that, and rock shops. Those, it's like sometimes I'd have to literally go outside for a little bit before I finished up my shopping because it would just be so intense in there, right? Yeah. So, just getting grounded and bringing down creator energy, grandfather sky energy to ground you to the earth too. It helps. Yeah. It doesn't, it's something that you have to renew, but it does help in the moment. Rochelle says, I got a book, Kabbalah for Dummies. Well, you'll have to let us know how that is for you. And maybe it would be a good resource to share. Stephanie says, when class is over, I will upload the info I have. Yay! Thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate it. I really do. I'm going to read a little bit about what Francine has to say about it. But, this is a spiritual conversation. So in order to share and help each other to understand a topic, right, from as many different perspectives as possible, so that we see what resonates with us and what doesn't, and we take what does, right? And so thank you, Stephanie, if you would do that. Hey, Cindy. Cindy's here too. Welcome. Margaret says, I got a headache at the first charm session with Polly Joe. I just asked for gentle. Yeah. Yep. Sometimes It is because we haven't we don't remember how to hold that energy field. We experience it, we notice it, and at first it feels good, and then after a while it starts like, you start getting tired. Some people get queasy in the stomach. Some people get this headache, and it doesn't go away. It feels sometimes like a band around your head is tightening. All of that are symptoms of being in a vibrational field that your physical body is adjusting to. Our soul already knows, right, how to already adjusted to it. And so it's our physical body that reacts to it. And so we can help ourselves, we can get grounded, we can get balanced, and it helps to adjust. The headache thing is asking your guides, your spiritual team, to help you to relax into the vibration and help to ease that pressure. Is that allowing the information to come through gently with grace. And sometimes you just have to call it a day. It's like, okay, I've had enough. I'm going to go do something else. Sometimes a walk is all you need. Other times, for other people, it's a short nap. For some people, it's maybe drinking, chamomile tea, or peppermint tea. And so it's just, or oils help too. So sometimes you just have to say, okay, I'm done. I need a break. Right? All right. Cindy is saying, yep, I was around all the rocks and crystals. I love them, but phew, that energy. Yep, that's right. Like a kid in a candy shop. Yes, I know what you mean. Shelley is saying, how do you know when the Merkaba is activated? Well, I have to say that the energy in which we reside in now is much, much different than when I activated mine. That was in 2002. So that was, the energy field was so much different then. These days, in modern times, let's put it that way, it is possible, depending on how much healing work you've done, especially around your heart chakra, how much you've used your gifts, okay, that you're really consciously awake on your spiritual path, having this experience, right, this physical experience, that it is possible to have your Merkaba spontaneously activate. That is possible. The thing is that when that does occur, you might feel maybe a little dizzy. You might feel a little wobbly. I don't want to say that you are wobbly, but it kind of feels like that your balance is just a little bit, not quite right. Why? Is because your physical body is adjusting to the energy field of the Merkaba. That's why. Yeah, and those symptoms usually fade, within, maybe a day or two. Some people, it could take maybe up to a week. Yeah, and sometimes when it activates spontaneously like that, it's not permanent. Sometimes it is, depends on how much work you've done around your heart chakra. Yeah. And so the next thing that you have to learn is how to drive your ascension vehicle, because that's what it is. Your Merkaba is your ascension vehicle. So how do you use it? Because it's a part of you, right? Yeah. So that's the next step. If you feel like you've spontaneously activated, And you can consciously activate. You can go to classes, you can study with somebody, and you can consciously activate. And then of course you get your driving manual. You get the instructions on how to drive it. Yeah. Yeah, Cindy and Lynn said, yep, to all those symptoms. Yeah. Rochelle, I watched Dr. Phil. Well, good for you, Rochelle. I'm not a Dr. Phil fan. Cindy Lynn says, yep, I need help with a very powerful dream. I had mixed messages from spirit in loved one. Also, let's see. Also, stuff I'm letting go. Yeah, those dreams. I like them though. I do. I used to journal all my dreams, and now I journal the ones that are very significant. Those are the ones I journal. The other ones I'm working through those emotional stuff, right? Yeah. And Margaret says, how do you spell that? Kabbalah or Merkaba? Let's see. I can do both of them for you. Okay. Here's the double B they use. BALAH and Merkaba. There you go. For spelling for them both. Stephanie says you can become ill as your body purges blocks and builds new pathways and connections in your brain. Yeah, sometimes you do get the purging effect, especially when it's a spontaneous activation, because your mental mind wasn't prepared to go through the changes, the shift. That's a better word for it. When you consciously do an activation, yes, you will still have some symptoms, but they're not as dramatic. Okay, yeah. And even with the symptoms, you have whether you spontaneously activate or if you consciously activate, with the symptoms, there's all kinds of tools out there to help us. There's no reason to suffer with it. None. It's not meant to be painful. It's not meant to be, it's not meant to make you suffer. No. So there's lots of ways to be able to help yourself to acclimate to that new frequency that you're at. Yeah. And we could even, why don't we do a show on that? And that way, we have really a very defined topic, and I'll fit that in September. Okay, I could do it for the next show maybe, but I'm hoping to have the tattoo artist on in September. So why don't I do that? Okay, would that be helpful? Because I'd be happy to do it, just to have that one topic and talk about the ascension symptoms with an activated Merkaba. Okay, let me know, and I can certainly do that. All right, Shelley's saying, yes, energies are softer nowadays compared to years ago. From the age of 7 to early 30, experienced horrific headaches, unbalanced equilibrium, been able to see other dimensions since 7. Yeah. And and like I said, we have allies, we have helpers. We don't have to suffer through it. And it's also understanding when those things occur, when they occur, and what is going on at the time that they occur, because they could be nudges from your spiritual team to pay attention to something or to prepare for something, and so that's another thing. Yeah. Okay, so Margaret, you've got the spelling for those. Now remember, the spelling of those two words, you'll see them spelt just slightly different depending on which belief system you're looking at. Okay, so the spelling isn't just that one way. There's some deviations to it depending on the culture and the belief system. Michelle, when I want to escape reality. Oh, is when you watch Dr. Phil? Is that it? Yeah. Yeah. Why not? If you enjoy it, go for it. Um, hey, Julie Hedges is here. Julie. I hope you're feeling better, Julie. Kabbalah and Merkaba. Yes. And she spelled them too. Yep. And Mary saying, I love my dreams. Even the nightmares fascinates me. I dream every night. Well, yeah, definitely. We all do. Some people have better recall than others. Sometimes, depending on what you're going through. I used to have really great recall with my dreams. But I would say in the last 6 years, 5 or 6 years, my recall of certain dreams is like none. I know I dreamt, but I can't tell you what I dreamt about. It's like trying to recapture it. Even moments after I wake up is like trying to grab smoke. It's like, the important dreams, I think, are the ones that I remember quite well and can journal. Yep. You're welcome, Margaret. Hey, Carrie Bull. Carrie's here too. Yay. And Margaret is saying, I have been having a lot of trouble, physical, spiritual, and emotional lately. Aw, Margaret. Margaret, do you think that it has anything to do with the class that you took with me? Because there's things that we could talk about if you feel that it has something to do with it. Okay. Oh, good. I'm glad, Shelley. She says yes, very helpful. Rochelle says, whatever you teach is helpful. Well, thank you. Thank you. It's just sharing experiences, really, and things that I've experienced and or taught, read. Yeah. Rochelle says, I have a great recall, vivid and lucid. I wake myself up laughing. Well, that's good. That's good. Let's see what Francine Hart has to say about her card, the Kabbalah. That's the first card that was drawn today. And it's about the tree of life. All right. And so what she says about this is that most cultures native to forested or jungle environments have elaborate myths surrounding the power of trees. Some even considered them gods or means of traveling to the spirit world. The names are various. There's the tree of knowledge, the tree of perfection, the world tree, and the Maya call it raised up sky tree. We also have to throw in there Axis Mundi, right? Yep. And the tree of life. And the tree of life. She says from the mystical Judaism, can't say that word today, Judaism, the diagrams of the tree of life called the Kabbalah. It holds instructions for conscious self-exploration. Conscious self-exploration. It is the world axis within, 10 archetypes, 10 lights. And what she's talking about are those smaller circles where the lines intersect. And to put it another way, those are like power points, power spots. It would be like when ley lines, earth energy ley lines cross. And when they do that, that becomes a sacred site usually, okay? She goes on to say that the geometry of the tree of life is also encoded in the figure called the flower of life. And we've covered that with a couple of other different cards. The flower of life is a very ancient symbol. It contains all the information of the entire universe, okay? It's found all over the world. In places like in Egypt, in the pyramid in Abydos, it's etched into the wall. It's found in China because it's used in feng shui coming out of China. So it's ancient information carrying cosmic universal energy. The platonic solids are found within, and the platonic solids are the building blocks of all creation. So to have the tree of life, to have the tree of life right in the center because it's found in Metatron's cube, which is all about creation, right? She goes on to say that this card suggests that that we're in a process of self-actualization and growth. The important point here is the exploration of self and spirit and your movement toward wholeness. Okay, your movement toward wholeness. So on these points, you see the words, right? And they're gateways to the essence or the knowledge found in those words, the essence of that word. And that we can use that, the tree of life, and to do a meditation, to go and find out if you select one of them at a time. That would be my suggestion, because it's a pretty big medicine to select one of them. If you select wisdom, you can ask your spiritual team to help you to use that gateway, the essence of wisdom, and how it is in your life. How is it expressed in your life? How do you express it through your gifts in your life? So it's really about our individuality and how the essence of those PowerPoints within the tree of life, how they're expressed in our lives. When I say lives, I mean our physical life, our mental life, our spiritual life, and our emotional life, right? And so it's about getting to know yourself so much better. All right, I'm going to scroll up a little bit and see the other. Okay, Margaret, it says that it's been since then. Yes. Okay. So there's a couple things you can do right away without having any conversation with me, but we want to have a conversation, okay? Is that you can do the grounding and the centering. Grounding, bringing that images of Grandmother Earth and having her come up through your body, bringing her in and taking it up, holding it just for a second, and on the exhale, bringing down Creator energy or Grandfather Sky energy, how that feels to you back down through your body. And imagine it going all the way into the earth, okay? And so you have both grandmother and grandfather flowing through you, helping you to ground. That's so helpful because it calms you. It calms you down and your mind isn't spinning, right? And on the emotional level, it helps you to center. And then asking your spiritual team for assistance. Call them all in. Just don't call one or two. Call them all in and have that conversation with them, asking them to help you to understand with clarity why you're experiencing what you're experiencing. Yeah. And also, drinking water. And I know that you're well hydrated. You believe in drinking water. But when you're drinking the water, my suggestion is to remember that water is life, right? And it comes from Grandmother Earth. We believe, Native Americans believe, that water is her blood. And when we take in water, we're taking her in to our bodies, and we can ask for help. We can ask for help. It's kind of like having a blessing because it's sacred. It's sacred. And those are the things that you can do immediately. But you and I should probably have a more in-depth conversation, and because there may be more things going on, right? Okay. So good for you, Rochelle, sending Margaret some Reiki. That's a loving way to help a friend. Shelley says, is anyone experiencing difficulties remembering information? It's not a medical condition, but spiritual. That's a good question. Sometimes it is because your frequency is different, and the information that you had is at a different frequency, and so the information is there. It's just accessing it is sometimes difficult. Sometimes we need a word or we need a phrase. And if you can link that information to a time in your life, like maybe it was your birthday or it was around a holiday or something like that. It's that cross-referencing that we have to help us pull it out of that memory. But really, it has to do with the frequency. There's also vocabulary, words that you used to use all the time, and then all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, it's coming. It was like right here, and I forgot it, right? Couldn't say it. That's because you're at a different frequency than when you had the experience with that word or phrase. And so that's on the spiritual end. Yeah, you can also ask your spiritual team for assistance with that, especially if it's information that you're sharing with others that is meant for to help them for the highest good, right? And so you can ask for help. What was that again? Tell me what that was again. And they'll help you with that. Michelle says, Shelley, it's not older age. No, it's not. Cindy's saying, I have trouble to meditate or ground myself when I don't have my shaman talking me through it. I'm supposed to do a Tonglen in 30 days, and I'm procrastinating. It's because I don't have the belief of focus is able to meditate. Is it because they want you to meditate in a certain way, Cindy? A certain method of meditation? Because if you can find a different way of meditating, sometimes I had to do this for a while. I was instructed to by my spiritual team, is that I was supposed to knit. And I was very reluctant. I know how to knit, but I don't like making things because there's all this counting and the pattern, and to me it's not relaxing. Okay. So, but every time I would close my eyes or I'd be making supper, I would hear, it's time to knit. You have to knit. And finally I threw up my hands. I said, fine, I'll knit, but I'm not making anything. And really what it was a different form of meditation. What it does is it keeps our mental mind busy doing something repetitive. And that part of us that is meant to be in that quietness and stillness is in the quiet and the still. In other words, if you do something like that, you don't have the TV on, you don't have the stereo on, you're not sitting in amongst a lot of people, is that it is a form of meditation. It's something to keep the busy mind busy. And Carl does the counting. He counts, and it keeps the mental mind. It gives the mental mind a job to do. So I don't know if that's helpful or not, Cindy, but it's a possibility that it's just the method of meditation, right? Yeah, because a lot of people think that the perfect way to meditate is to be in lotus position, a certain mudra, right? And you're there for, hours sometimes. That is meditation. Yes, it is. But there's so many different ways to meditate. So that's the question is there a certain kind of meditation that they want you to do? Cindy says, phone keeps freezing. I'm finding rest Once I'm back home with better connection. Okay, sounds good. We'll talk to you later, Cindy Lynn. Thanks for joining us. Shelly says, sending love and light to all. Thank you. I know. I got to do the second card yet. I can't get myself grounded. Okay. I can share something with you in just a minute. Mary says, I knit to meditate, but I only make scarves and give them away. Nothing but straight knitting. Yep, that's what I did. That's right. No hats, no mittens, no socks, no sweaters. No. My mom would knit beautiful clothing. She tried to teach me. I didn't have the patience. Yeah. And Cindy's saying, so maybe just saying the Talon will put me into a meditative state. Yeah, it could. It could. The getting grounded. Here's a very feminine way to do this, okay? And it's a part of the Unity Breath meditation that we do once a month here. And that is bringing images of what you love and appreciate about Grandmother Earth. Okay, it could be a place that you've been before in nature, parks, where you like to go on walks. It could be your own backyard, or like Rochelle, your front yard, where she has this beautiful river flowing, right? It's places that you've been that you just love, or images of Grandmother Earth that you just love. You know, for me, it would be like in the autumn, and all of the maple trees turning color. There's a park, actually it's a natural area down where I used to live that I used to take students to, and I used to go down there and drum. And so I bring those images of that place to me. And you bring those images to you, and you really make them real for yourself. Using your imagination, bringing those images, and remembering how you feel about those places, how you feel about it. And you can also bring pets in, what it's like to have them with you, sitting in your lap or in front of you, petting them, hugging them. Children, you could bring a grandchild, one of your own children, a niece or a nephew, what it was like when they were little, hugging them, rocking them to sleep. It's unconditional love, right, that you had for them. And it's those images and the feelings that go along with them. And what you do is you take all of that love that you have for Grandmother Earth and you send it to her. You send it down to her core. And just say, Grandmother or Mother Earth, I just love you. I love you so much. I love you. And she's going to reply. She will reply. You sensing, feeling, seeing how she replies. It could be a feeling that you have. It could be, you could see a color. But that's grounding. That's grounding. It's a connection between you and her. Love. Hey, Sally, roll up. I'm glad you're here. Yeah. So give it a try, and see how it works for you. All right. So we got to do the second card. We're having a good conversation this afternoon. I got to take a drink of my tea. So the way the author of this deck, to do the card draw, we draw two cards. And the first card in the layout is represents the male energies, right? And so it's being logical, we're thinking about it, it's coming from our brain, grandfather sky. The second card is about the female energies, our emotions, our feelings, our intuition, our heart, and Grandmother Earth. And when we bring in the information in that way, we bring it in so it's balanced between the male and female energies, and it reaches all of our bodies, the information does. And so we receive the information holistically and whole, W-H-O-L-E. I think it's brilliant the way she has this done. So the second card is the Pentagon. the Pentagon. Yep. And she has it meaning the pentagram, power and excellence. Power and excellence. And how I remember how the Pentagon, which one's the Pentagon is for me, it looks like a house. It's five-sided. It holds energy that represents power, excellence, regeneration, and transcendence. Excellence, power, regeneration, and transcendence. And the pentagram, the image up on the side there, is the pentagram. And so if you notice how that's done is that you're connecting the points of the pentagon to form the pentagram. You see how that looks? You're connecting the points on the inside of the pentagon to get the pentagram. The pentagram is a symbol of power, protection, and it is comes from the Wiccan tradition. So choosing this card, she says, is that we are protecting ourselves from some real or perceived threat, and you're needing confirmation of the effectiveness of your actions. So asking ourselves, is there a threat? Is there a real threat? Or is it a perceived threat? And generally speaking, it's usually a perceived one. Yeah. Sometimes we get it from our parents. We grew up with it. You know, like my mom is scared of snakes. I don't know how many times she's flung magazines or books across the room because there's a picture of a snake. And so when I was young, very young, I had the same fear, right? And then as I got older, as an adult, and understanding about the power medicine of a snake and the environment, their habitat, that kind of thing, I'm not afraid of them. They may startle me, but I'm not afraid of them. And so that's a perceived threat, right? Perceived, because we grew up with it. She also says that emotional, mental, and spiritual dangers often rise from lack of attention or unwillingness to listen to our inner guidance, our spiritual team. She says, go within and define your inquiry with the intention of moving through and beyond whatever it's creating the uncertainty or the insecurity. Remember that the answer lies within. And that perceived threat sometimes is when we build those walls around us, right? That we think we're protecting ourselves, and we built up so many walls that we're not allowing much in, not much in. And so she's asking us to take a look, is to ask about that, so that if it is a perceived threat and we have a way of dealing with that we don't have to have all these walls up, and that we are able to live a life that is more balanced. It's much fuller, and that we are actually able to sense, feel, and be peace and love. Those things that we really want in our lives, right? Yeah. So it's more inner work. It's more inner work. So I want to see, when you put these two together for the energy for the day, right? How it was flowing, the information that's important for us to know about for today, for our highest good, the tree of life, and the Pentagon. And so the tree of life, when we go into these gateways to know ourselves better, information about the perceived threat, or in some people's cases, it might actually be a real threat, is that we know ourselves much better by going through the process of the self, understanding ourselves better, right? Yeah. So what's in common there? What's in common that both these cards talk about? And both those cards are talking about knowing ourselves better. In all of our bodies, not just in our mental body or a physical body, but also in our emotional body, because that's where a lot of our trauma that we've experienced resides. And so when we know ourselves better and we do our healing work, those perceived threats start to fall away, and that we can bring in energy that is meant for us to sense, feel, and see, right? Yeah. Does that make sense? That's what I get from it anyway. Yeah. And I wanted to add with the Pentagon, the five-sided is also one of the platonic solids that create the platonic solid. That's the dodecahedron. The dodecahedron has the five-sided shape used to create that sacred geometry called a dodecahedron. And the dodecahedron represents spirit, ether, prana. It's one of the five platonic solids. That's the building block of all lives, of all things, I should say, in the universe. So if you add that little piece of information on top of everything, it's about spirit. It's about our spirit. It's about universal prana that flows through us. Yeah. There you go. So, any information that we shared here today, see if it resonates with you. If it feels right to you, then grab onto it, embrace it. See how it unfolds for you today. Reflect on it. Use it if you can. That way you're a direct participant in it, or you're maybe bearing witness to somebody's experience with it. Either way, we're learning something, right? If it didn't resonate with you, that's okay. Maybe we're planting seeds, or maybe you're a messenger and somebody who might be interested in the information, and you can share the link to the recorded show with them and be the messenger, right? Yeah. Let's see. I'm going to get caught up in the chat room. Cindy says, thank you, I can do that. Yeah, give it a try. And Rochelle is saying that the blue on the card is soothing, very, very calming. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Margaret says that makes sense. And Cindy says, I just finished the 4 agreements in the beginning of knowing myself. That's one of my favorite books. I've given that book to many of my friends and family members, the 4 agreements. Kind of hard to live by some of them. Challenges us, right? And Rochelle says, gotta go. You all have a great day. I know, so do I. So enjoy the rest of your Thursday. And you know what? If you're available and you'd like to join us tonight for the Mystery School with Carl and Ortune Franklin, we're going to be talking about communication and communicating with the spiritual realm, and our guides and our teachers and that sort of thing. So, I get to produce their show, so I get front row seat and be a part of the conversation. So join us. It's at 8 p.m. Eastern, and you can find us at their fan page, The Mystery School, here on Facebook. And I'll also have it posted here at the main fan page. And so join us. It's going to be another good discussion. Okay. Enjoy the rest of your day. And let's see, tomorrow's Friday. And we'll see you back here in the morning at 10 a.m. Central Time. That would be 11 Eastern for the Daily Card Draw live stream. Bama Mina, that's Potawatomi for until we see each other again. Love you guys.